Welcome to Ask When, everyone. This morning with me, I have Lindsay, and I'm going to let Lindsay take it away and share her story, and then we'll walk in the wall, you guys. So, welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. And so, Lindsay, can you please explain to my giant fan base more about you and what you do?
Well, my name is Dr. Lindsey Elmore. I am originally from Birmingham, Alabama, and I have a degree in chemistry from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, as well as a doctorate in pharmacy from the University of California, San Francisco. And since becoming a pharmacist, I have traveled all over the world educating people about health and wellness, about essential oils, about supplements, all of the things that we can use in our tool chest to help us stay healthy.
Well, you guys, I'm amazed that I brought Lindsay on. I'm actually going through another small house crisis right now. Small. And I think I know what it is, but I'm not 100% positive until I get more, more diagnostic testing on me. But as soon as I know what it is, I will let you guys know. But, Lindsay, what would be your best advice for someone who is dealing with everything that's going on? Or your best advice is probably stay away from people. But if we have to go out in public and wear the mask and still get sick, what would be your best advice as a pharmacist?
Well, I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give is that we know that stress hijacks our immune system. And so, if we are able to stay calm and relaxed, even amidst all of the crazy, that is one of the biggest things that we can do to stay healthy. So, the moment that we begin to get stressed, we start to throw off our immune system function because we ramp up our cortisol levels, which thereby increases our reactions. It increases not only our emotional responses to stress, but also our physical responses to stress. This can make us less likely to be able to fight off invaders. And so, for the big thing is just to really, really remember to stay relaxed because we can't control what's going on in the world. And it is a stressful time being in and around the world. But the one thing we can do is to we can control our response to what is going on. And so we may not be able to control everything out there in the world, and we may not be able to control any of the requirements that have been put on us, but we can control our emotional response and the way that we think about it. And so let's just continue to stay really relaxed and calm in the way that we think about the world around us and allow that to help us to stay healthy.
Well, that is amazing, that advice you said. And yeah, stress can do it to you. Stress can do it to you. And so, Lindsay, what is your favorite book?
Oh, wow. Goodness. My favorite quote. Um, One that is hanging on the wall back behind me is show up, add value, and no drama. And I love that because it is one of those quotes that just kind of reminds me, all right, this is all you have to do. Just show up, add value to people's lives, and don't make it dramatic. I also have hanging on my wall. There are some days when it feels like no matter how hard I try, I'm in a foreign land and whoever is doing the translating has had far too much to drink. And I
Yeah.
think we all feel that way sometimes, where we feel not understood, where we feel like we are not getting our point across, that we are unable to convey what we really mean. And that can be very, very frustrating to really want to get an idea across, a thought across, and yet how do we do that when it just seems like no one understands us? And so that is another quote that's on my wall. There's so many amazing quotes. The one that I think I've held closest to my heart this year is a quote that says, stress is wanting the present moment to be something other than what it is. And I think that that is so true, because I think many of us have wanted the present moment this year to be something different than what it is. And so let's just remember that that is the origin of stress, is when we want the present moment to be something other than what it is.
And if your BFF had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
Uh, I mean, I think I would hope that it would be one of those moments where people would recognize that kindness matters, and that I think would be a piece of it. Going on, bringing up ideas about self-exploration and a journey towards becoming something better today than I was yesterday, and something better tomorrow than I was today. I would hope those kinds of ideas would come into the equation. But just reminding myself and reminding the people around me that, again, there's a lot that goes on in the world and we can't control all of it. All we can control is our emotions and what we put out into the world. And I constantly try to ensure that I put kindness out there. So I think kindness matters would be something that would be very important to me, and I would be honored if someone would write that book about me. What about you? What would a book about your life be called?
Well, my book is already out. I Win is already out, and if my BFF had to write about me, she would probably say the never-ending spirit of winning. She would
No.
say the never-ending spirit of winning. And so what is your morning routine?
I get up in the morning, I meditate for about 10 minutes. I then write one sentence in my gratitude journal and then read for 10 to 15 minutes in whatever book I'm reading. I try to read at least 10 minutes a day in a book on top of what I read online, etc. And I drink a cup of green tea. I will either do a few minutes of yoga, doing just 3 sun salutations, but sometimes I save the yoga for the evening if I need to teach, etc. But I do get up, I meditate, I write in my gratitude journal, I then read, and then I go forward to drink a shot of apple cider vinegar and then brush my teeth, wash my face, drink my tea, and get my day really, really on the
Yeah,
go.
yeah. And so, Lindsay, do you have any more questions for me?
So I'm interested to know about some of the misconceptions that people have about you? Because I did some research and I looked in your history, and you are such an inspiration and such a just vibrant person. But I'm sure because of the way you look and the way that you sound, people have misconceptions about you. So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that you have faced throughout your life?
Well, one misconception, and I got this call this morning, and they automatically said, "Is this Charles Wynn?"
Mm,
They automatically said right out of the chute, "Is this Charles Wynn?" And I'm like, "No, it's Wynn Charles." And then we went on with the phone call. And they've been doing that since '87. They've been
yeah.
translating my last name as my first name.
That's like my grandmother. She was her name is Bobby, and she always thought that that said something about her, that, she was that her parents maybe wanted a boy instead of a girl, but none of that was true. And so I can imagine how frustrating that is when people are constantly getting your name wrong. And
Yes.
what have been in your life some of your most meaningful what's maybe one of the most meaningful moments of your life that you always look back on, and it could have been a difficult moment, but one that shaped who you are?
There was there's 3 difficult moments. Um, One, saying goodbye to my mom as she was in a medically induced coma, and then the second one was saying I love you to my dad, as I never got to see him again because he passed away, and the
Right.
third was me being physically and emotionally abused.
Mm. And what did you do to process those emotions?
Well, um I couldn't necessarily process well, I processed what happened as, okay, my mom is now slowly dying, but as I wrote my original book, I um I wrote it in her honor as I processed my dad dying and me saying I love you, and I knew he was not coming home from what he was dealing with. And so I also knew, but when you're physically and emotionally abused, you can't process those emotions at the beginning. It has
Oh,
now taken me a year to understand that the way I was emotionally and somewhat physically abused, was more towards my abuser than me, and all I was doing was in my own skin asking for help. And
yeah.
this was 1 month after my dad died. So,
Mhm.
Lindsay, where can people find you, and where can people get a hold of you?
People can come and find me over at www.lindsayelmore.com. And you can also find me at Lindsay Elmore on Instagram and Facebook. And you can also find me at Dr. Lindsay Elmore. That's DrLandseyElmore over on Pinterest.
Well, thank you, Lindsay, and I hope you
Thank you
guys
so much for having
enjoy
me.
the fabulous episode. Thanks, you guys.